Okay, so I'm going to record this for Cjb. He's the Blue Zerg in this game. What I'm going to be doing is going over this replay for him, kind of analyze some of the things that went wrong in this game. So I'm going to start, going to speed up, because I'm going to assume nothing too crazy happens in the beginning. Okay, no probes go out or anything like that. Starting off, he overlords at the right time. That's good. Puts down a spawning pool at 15. That's okay. He puts down his hatchery. Comes in, he scouts that he went Gateway Forge. That's kind of weird, but it's whatever. There's no wall, but he's got some cannons at the front, which is bad, but that's okay. Since he didn't go speed early. Okay, right here's your first mistake. You really don't need to take 2 gases early unless you're planning on, like, all-inning with roaches or something. Which would not have been your best play. Because right here you have this overlord. You can see he still hasn't expanded. So what you should be thinking right now is he's coming to attack you. So you could get out some zerglings or some roaches. You want to move these overlords out on the map to scout. Let's see. Okay. Because this is all you can see. You could have a proxied pylon anywhere and you wouldn't know. And right now you should just be worried about drones. But you kind of want to move this overlord around and you want to try and get it in his base to see what he's doing. Because right now you don't know what he's doing. He could be, for all you know, going for Dark Templar. And if he was going for DTs, you'd have no detection. Roach 1, Evo Chamber. So you are going to do something with roaches. But I don't think that was the best thing you could do. As you can see, I'm looking at his base. He's oversaturated. He probably should expand. He's got a Twilight Council on the way, so I'm not exactly sure what he's going for. It's some sort of Sentry Immortal all in. You have a couple Zerglings out, but what you should be doing with these is scouting around the map looking for pylons, but of course there are none out there, but there would be if this was a higher level game. So, right now you've got 7 roaches on the way, your +1 attack and roach speed. But you still haven't scouted him. For all you know, he's got 15 immortals up here, because I mean, he's been on one base and he hasn't moved, so he could have anything. You send this first Zergling out. This is the first time you've moved out on the map minus that overlord. That's kind of not ideal, because he could have hidden a base anywhere. Not that you'd really look for that every game, but you could at least scout around for the pylons and stuff. And you've got these 3 spine crawlers, which, if I saw Protoss on one base for that long, I'd probably throw down some spines too, because I don't know what the hell he's doing. But you got the roaches coming, 2 overseers, which is good just in case. They are going for DTs. Right here you move up the ramp. Pick off. You make him cancel the Nexus. You get rid of the 2. Okay, you don't get rid of the 2 pylons. Right, this is bad. You do not want to... You're fighting into 2 extra cannons. And you just threw away that whole roach force. You could have just taken this pylon and backed off. And you didn't kill any... You left your overseers to die. That's kind of bad too. You don't want to do that. But you didn't kill any immortals. And now that you've seen the immortals, one thing, since you already have your lair, you could transition into a... What is this? Okay, Hydroden. You can transition into Hydralisk and Ling style, where you use speedlings and you want to research the Hydralisk speed upgrade first, so they can kind of keep up with the Zerglings. But right now, I'm looking and you're 12 and 13 minutes into the game. You don't have your 3rd base yet. You've got 1,300 minerals just sitting there. And really, you should have expanded here, and you should probably already be thinking about taking this 4th base as well. Having your roaches come over here is okay, but right here you don't want to do this, because a good Protoss player would have had sentries up here and would have force fielded you in, but it doesn't matter because you move back up there. But if he force fields you in right here, you lose. These are 5 immortals. Immortals do quite a bit of damage, and then they do extra to roaches. Like, this immortal has 3 kills, this one has 2, this one has 11, 4, and 10. Those immortals are going to shred you if you just keep making more and more roaches. You don't keep making roaches into that army. You want to make Hydras, which you haven't started either of the Hydralisk upgrades. And you probably want to get your Carapace upgrade. Okay, you already started it. But here we are, 15.5 minutes in, and you're still sitting on these 2 bases. You haven't even sent a drone over to take the 3rd yet, but you've got 1,300 minerals. Like, you could be maxed out right now on those 2 bases. Like, if you're going to be on 2 bases, at least be maxed out. But you could easily have come down here and taken this 3rd, taken this 4th. Like, what you did, it kind of looks to me like you did a 2 base all in, and then kept trying to all in. But as you see, he's got these Immortals, and these Immortals just aren't having it because, well, and you should not keep sending your roaches in there. That's going to happen every time. But, like, honestly, this army, minus these Zealots, are really weak to Zerglings and Hydralisks. And then Hydralisks, whenever you get the attack upgrade, can actually shoot from over force fields. And then you sacrifice another army, and you killed a few Immortals, because I know you had more than that, but see, these Mortals have already more than paid off, all having double digits worth of kills, except for this one. And then he's got this 3rd over here that you didn't even see, but you should have had an Overlord over here spreading creep on that base. In case you don't know, you might, I'm not sure if you do or not, but Overlords generate creep. You just fly them over to the bases close to them and have it do that, and then they'll have to wait for the creep to clear up before they can even think about taking the base, and before that they have to kill the Overlord. But you finally started to take your 3rd, which is nice, but it's way late. And you also don't want to have all of your Overlords clumped like this. This is something you see a lot in lower level games, but if he made Phoenixes and he sent his Phoenixes in right there, you'd probably get supply blocked really bad. And he's got 5 Immortals, 6 Immortals now, so these roaches really are just basically cannon fodder because they're just going to get destroyed. So his 3rd's up in mining, and your 3rd still has no drones on it. You always want to be ahead of the Protoss on bases. Right now you've got this much money in the bank that you could have spent, but I'm going to assume, okay, you have some larvae. I'm not sure why you're not making Hydralisks and stuff. But another thing you could have done is whenever you saw he was going this Immortal style, you could have went in for an infestation pit and then gone for Swarm Host. I don't know if you hate Swarm Host like I do, but if you don't mind using Swarm Host, you could have spread creep out to here already, parked your Swarm Host right there, and just kept rallying them towards those Immortals, because Immortals are garbage against Locusts. And now you have some Mutalisks thrown in, which you're going to have the Mutalisks. Try and fly them into the natural mineral line or something. Don't just have them. But you're going to look at your... You don't even see the 3rd yet. Like, you don't even know he has a 3rd. And then these 6 Immortals just punish your roaches. And, like, every time you push in, he just kills your entire army, and you don't ever get to what's actually dealing the damage. Like, his Zealots and Stalkers are just dying, but with the way his army's set up, that's okay. As long as he doesn't lose his Immortals, he's fine. He's also got these Phoenix, which should be doing something, but they're just staying with the army, so I guess that's okay. He's got way too many probes, but it's alright. He's taking his 4th base now, and you're just now moving drones to your 3rd. So you've been on 2 bases, probably 1. Yeah, you're basically on 1 base right now. But you could have literally this whole side of the map if you wanted, because he has not left. Let's see. You look at his vision, he hasn't left this little area right here. This is the farthest he's pushed out, and he came right back. But other than that, the main things you needed to work on in this game was, if you were going to all in, then you should probably find the build order for it, because that was way too slow, I think. I'm not 100% sure though. But I think you should have just played a macro game instead and expanded more. But see, this is the point I was talking about earlier about not leaving all of your Overlords in one spot. He could pick up those Hydras and kill them. There's only 4 there. And he could have, you know, killed all those Overlords, and you'd have been down to like 60 supply or something and had to make all those Overlords. And as you can see now, that bank's evaporated, but that's because you keep losing this whole army like this. And then you sent your swarm host in too. Not sure what that was all about. Probably just a misrally, but. And here he's maxed out, and he's got a pretty good bank because he's on 4 bases. So I'd imagine this is pretty much GG. He's got a huge Phoenix army, which he didn't really need until just now, but. Yeah. The main things I would say that went wrong in this game was you moved up the ramp early in the game. You really did not need to do that. You didn't take your third until like 16, 17 minutes, I don't remember, into the game. And then you allowed him to take this third without ever scouting it. And then he never took this natural for a long time, so you should have just, kept an eye on that like you did with that Overlord. But the biggest problem was not expanding, and then wrong compositions against his. Like, if this player makes 5 immortals at the beginning of the game, you just don't make roaches, because roaches will get demolished if he has any form of buffer for those immortals. But like, if he's got like 1 or 2, and you've got like 80 roaches, then obviously you'd be okay. But that wasn't the case. You had maybe 12 roaches in the beginning of the game, and you fought into these cannons, into this choke, where some of your roaches weren't even firing. He had like 2 immortals, I think, up here. It's just stuff you don't want to have to deal with. Like, what he did, honestly, should not have worked, because he stayed on 1 base for so long. Like, I don't know. And then another thing I can say, this pneumatized carapace upgrade is actually extremely good. It makes your overlords really fast, and you can scout around the map with them, and then whenever you morph them into overseers, actually keep up with your mutalisks. So the mutaplay would have been okay if you'd have used it right. For example, well, you couldn't do it now because he's got cannons all over that base, but all of these probes have no defense anywhere. And if you were to fly around, well, through here, I guess, but you might have had to fly over the army for that, so it may not have worked. But the main things in this game were I would not recommend taking double gas that early unless you're actually going to all in, and then expanding more. Other than that, I feel like you just have to work on the composition, your choice of units. You have to really look into the game better than that. Thanks for watching. I hope I helped.